Hi folks, my name is Joko McKenna and I'm an English teacher and an IELTS tutor and administrator based out of Mandalay, Myanmar. And I'm here to do a review of a task 1 that was provided by a member of the IELTS Tips and Tricks group on Facebook. Now, excuse me while I have a snack while I'm doing this, because well, one of my shortcomings as a provider of feedback and reviewer of IELTS work is that I can get a little bit surly sometimes, and that might have something to do with low blood sugar. So make sure that I've got something to eat, and I'm nice and competent here. I'm calm while I present. In the feedback report, don't eat, Joko. No, of a task 1. Why might I take it surly? Well, I had high hopes for this one. The candidate had written some task 2 essays that were top-notch, were really spectacular, and quite worthy of other students reading and emulating. How does it do on this one? Bring up about, here I am in my own PowerPoint. Yeah, that makes it more interesting, right? Your boring PowerPoints can be made more exciting by adding yourself to them. Okay, so, doing too much while being lazy at the same time in IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. Now, lazy, that's a very loaded word. It's got negative connotations to it. But and perhaps the lazy is not the right word. I put that in there. It's clickbait, really. But I see it a lot in terms of when you get your task 1, take a while to analyze it and really figure out what is it showing. Okay? Don't just look for the highest and lowest. So, what makes task 1 from task 2? Well, how are they different? Well, in the band descriptors, there's really the significant difference, the only difference really, is in the first of the band descriptors. It even has a different name. In task 2, it's called task response. Okay? Task 1 is called task achievement. Now, what does that mean? When you're achieving something, what are you doing as opposed to responding? Is there a right and wrong way to respond? No, not really. I mean, there's a response. But with an achievement, you're going for a goal. Okay? There's certain things that you need to do in task 1, as dictated by the column all the way over on the left side of the screen. Task response. Now, we're looking at bands 5, 6, and 7, and this writer was writing bands 8 stuff in task 2. But look closely at what it says. Okay? What words do you find repeated in band 6 and 7 and hinted at in band 5? Huh? And they're also in band 8, I should point out. Here, first one. Yeah, you see it? Requirements of the task. Covers the requirements of the task. Addresses the requirements of the task. Generally addresses the task. Okay, but so here it's telling us that there are certain requirements that we must do. What are they? What are these requirements of the task that we're talking about? Just notice some other things here. A clear overview of the main trends, differences, or stages. Okay, the main. Whereas in 6, as long as you have an overview, if the information is appropriate, then you're fine. So now we're wondering, so what are the requirements of the task? Well, it's there in the instructions that's included in every task 1. Every task 1 has in its instructions the following words. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. The colorizing and the emboldening is mine, of course. It does not say anything about meticulously describing everything. Okay? It does not say anything about tell us what the highest and lowest are. But that's what people automatically run to. There's some, I don't know who it is. There's more than one. I've heard colleagues say it. But yeah, you should look at the highest and lowest, but that's not the automatic choice. Particularly when you only got 3 things. You got 3 things in reporting the highest and the lowest. What are you reporting? You might as well say what the middle one is too. Okay. What are you selecting? You're saying everything. Now we'll get to the specifics. Okay. All right. Maybe I need a little more here. Apple juice. Okay. So, let's look at these words. Summarize. Quick note. Use real test questions. Okay? This was the graph, or the 2 graphs that were presented. And I don't think that these would qualify as, I don't think you'd find these in the Cambridge tests. These are fine for practice, really. I mean, that's what you're doing, I suppose. But you want to practice with things that are close to the original. I mean, can you get a simpler graph than the top one? Up and down. 3 data points. Okay. Second one, a little more sophisticated. Here we've got 15 data points, which puts the total at 18 data points. What do I mean by data points? Those are individual numbers, statistics, things that you can report. And yeah, I've seen real IELTS test questions with 18 data points, but I don't think I've seen a 2 graphic one with 18 data points. It's kind of low. And also, the problem with 18 data points was that it's small enough that you can write about everything. And you don't want to do that. That is not summarizing. Okay? And the instructions given had errors in it, at least how I read it. Maybe it was just a copying error on the part of the candidate, but over a 10-year graph below illustrates the number of university graduates in the UK over a 10-year period. Actually, it's 11 years, not 10. While that bar chart, which one? No, that one. What? While the bar chart shows key sectors in which they work over the same period. Well, one of the key basic things of grammar is when you have specific time periods in the past that are finished, you use the past simple tense, in which they worked over the same period. Summarize the graphs. Wait, one of them was a chart a moment ago. By selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. They've forgotten half of the main instructions. Okay. Jari Taemoon Fook said, "Dear mentors," I see many myself. Yes. Too much emphasis on task 2, not enough on task 1. Because people think it's simple. Just find the highest and lowest and write about everything else. Put some significant increases and decreases and trends in there and you're fine. No. Not that simple. Okay? You're going to take some time and look at what you've got. Fook. Okay. So that's his name, Fook. I mean, it says right there. All right. So let's look at this graph. What do we got? Okay, well, we have the number of graduates going up and then down. Ooh, it looks like a big number. But, right, what do we got here? Well, all right, we've got professionals. Most people, but it significantly decreased. Whereas this also decreased, went up, fluctuated. All right, what do these numbers over here mean? It doesn't say. Is that an error in the transcription or an error in the graph? Well, no graph is not going to tell you what those numbers mean, but a little bit of thinking about it and adding some things up, you should be able to deduce what those numbers mean, right? I mean, what do you think they are? Probably percentages, right? Well, some quick math. Stop talking and, all right, either eat or talk. All right. Some quick math will verify that. Let's take the blue number. Just under 60, okay? Here we got 20. Here we got 10, so it's 30. we got 5, that's 35. And then we got about 7, that's 30, 37, and right, 40, 20, 30, 30, 42. 42 and 58 equals 100. It's a percentage, okay? Here you have 40, 20, 20, that's 80, 10, 10, that's 100, okay? These numbers, it doesn't say it, they are percentages. It makes sense. Why else would you only have percentages, you'd only have other in there if you had to make up 100% of the total. Otherwise, there would be no reason to include other. Okay, so moving on. Summarize. It's a number person instruction. Well, what does it mean? Well, Cambridge Learner's Dictionary has this definition of summarize. To express the most important facts or ideas about something or someone in a short and clear form, as short as possible. So this means that any words that you're including in your writing that are not needed to write coherently and are not needed to complete the requirements of the task, they do not belong. Okay? Write tight. Do not include, this is why you should not include any opinions. Opinions are, every mentor will agree, everyone knows, no opinions in task 1. Why? Because they're not on the graph. And adding stuff to what's there is the opposite of summarizing. But despite the simplicity of this graph, our candidate managed to write bum, bum. Normally, I would just stop there and I'd just have a personal policy of not reading task 1's over 210 words. 268 words is, by definition, not summarizing. Okay? I know that without doing anything else, without even reading it. I know we're not summarizing. Can you write 268 words in 20 minutes? Maybe. Possibly. Not likely. Most people can't. So, what happens if you go over your 20 minutes? Well, obviously you're taking away from task 2. And task 2 is more important, right? 2/3 of your grade. In fact, some mentors even recommend doing task 2 first. I can see the logic in that. No, do task 2 first and then do task 1. Then you won't write these 268 word monstrosities. Oh my. Okay. So after the instruction of summarize, it says select and report the main features. Okay? You select them in your head, and report them in the overview, as well as in the body paragraphs. And then, of course, you have your introduction. Now, your introduction, this first part here, is designed to show that you understand what you're looking at, and to show that you can paraphrase effectively by not repeating the words from the instructions. 1 or 2 are okay, but what we have here, blue, coherence and cohesion. You've misplaced your adverb, okay? Respectively, almost always goes at the end of a sentence, or the end of 2 sets of, the end of 2 sets of words or information, 2 bits of information. This and this represent this and this respectively. This and that respectively represent. I mean, it sounds like they're doing it with like honor. Oh, I respectfully represent. No, of course that's not what it means. But respectively doesn't go there. Compare the number of university graduates. No, they don't compare. They show. They illustrate. It says illustrate. It doesn't compare. You compare. Okay? Comparing is an act. Is a showing. Is a describing. Is a pointing out. This is displaying. Okay? And do not take a block of 5 words. The number of university graduates. The number of university graduates. Same. Just break it up. Don't have 5 words in a row from the question. And the industries, okay, they venture into. Oh, same grammar mistake. This is between 1992 and 2002. You have specifically stated the years. So, although the graph is in the present tense, it's representing things that people ventured into. Okay, overview. Overall, good. The number of graduates exhibited major changes over the said period. Ah, did it now? Major changes. Okay. Doesn't really tell us much, but we'll go with it. With 1997 recording the highest number, while the figure for 1992 was the lowest. And 2002 was in the middle. Do you see how when you've got 3 data points reporting the highest and the lowest isn't really the most significant information? What's the most significant thing about the line graph? It went up and went down. Oh, okay. That number of graduates rose and fell. There you go. Okay. And then, in respect to the sectors, that's kind of awkward. Once again, the highest number. You're repeating your observation. You know, the highest number of graduates pursued a professional career. While there's a grammar mistake, while careers in sales and other industries, okay, accounted for the lowest figures, plural. You got multiple things. And did it now, really. Okay. Well, let's look at, if we can. In 2002, sales was 10%. Other was, let's say, 9%. So, sales and other industries combined was about 19%. Okay, I'd say this management and administration is 18% perhaps, or it's less than those two put together. And the way you phrased it makes it sound like it's put together. You know, these and that, this and that. So you've got inaccuracies in your highest and lowest, and your highest and lowest doesn't really tell us much. It just tells us things about one thing, not overall trends. Where's the trends? Now you go into the trends in the body paragraphs, and this is critical. What you report in your body paragraphs needs to reflect what you said in your overview. Okay, your overview should have 2 sentences. The first is the main features of one part of what you're talking about. Second sentence is the main features of another part. Then your body paragraphs reflect the organization of the overview. But even though this is supposed to be the most important information, we don't hear anything about the highest and lowest in the body paragraphs. Well, a little bit, but it certainly doesn't reflect it. Huh? All right, moving on. Here's a lesson about life that you can use. This is an old newspaper trick, an old trick with statistics that everyone should be aware of, because you don't want to be a victim of data manipulation. Here's the exact same data as the line chart. Okay? It didn't change anything. I just presented it in a different way. You can see 1992, 160, 1997, 190, 2002, 180. Is that a dramatic change? Not when you look at it like that. So be careful of axis manipulation. What's the difference here in these 2 charts? Well, let's look. Okay, this chart here starts at 150,000. Okay. So, of course, in that range, the number is going to look a lot different. Okay. Be careful of any y-axis that doesn't begin at 0. Now, I could put that number at 160,000. It would be even more dramatic. Starting on a low of only. That's opinion. Only is judgmental. Only 165,000. It's a lot more than graduated from university in Bhutan in 1992. The number of university students. Nope, it's not students. It's graduates. Rose steadily until it reached a peak of 195,997 before it started a downward trend. The number started a trend. No, I don't think that the number started a trend. I guess so. But we've really only got 2 data points here. 1997 and 2002. If it was 1997, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, and we had little variations in there, we could call that a trend. A trend is a difference over time. When we only got 2 numbers, it's hard to call it a trend. Why should it take 42 words to describe 3 data points? Is this summarizing? No, it's not. Oh my goodness. This is where we get our 268 words. Okay, so as I mentioned before, what does the y-axis represent here in this chart? You quickly tell us that you don't know. While professional careers were significantly popular, that's not very good collocation, okay? Significantly popular. No, I don't see those words put together next to each other very much, if at all. Among the graduates, this option increased gradually from just under 60 what in 1992 to slightly above 40 in 2002. Okay, a downward trend can also be similarly seen. No, use also be seen or similarly seen. Don't use both. In the managerial administration fields, plural. Starting at 20 what? 20 what? 20 at the beginning, spelled wrong, of the period, the number decreased. Okay, you've said decreased here already in the sentence before. Don't repeat your terms in consecutive sentences. Over the years, comma, although the fall was marginal. Was it now? Really? 20 to 16. Okay? That's a difference of 4, which is 20% of the original number. Okay, okay. It was 180. Would you say that's marginal? Yeah. That's an opinion, and really, it's not marginal. It's significant. What is significant? What is marginal? If you're not sure, don't say it. Okay. You're trying to say you know how to use the word marginal. Fine, but you save it for something that is marginal. I'd say 20% of the whole is not marginal. By contrast, good. Number of graduates. No, it's the percentage of graduates pursuing a career in clerical and secretarial roles, as well as sales, increased over the 10-year period. Okay, and then you got 2 long sentences that go into the specifics of those 2 columns, sets of columns. You don't have to report everything. Okay? And here you really show that you don't know what the columns mean when you say from just under 10 individuals. There were only 10 individuals going into secretarial field in the UK in the entire year of 1992. That should have raised some alarm bells. 10 people in the whole country? Out of 165,000 graduates? That's a lot. That's not many. While you've already said while, it began while, don't repeat yourself. Significantly lower. Recording a figure below 10 throughout the same time. Once again, I question your use of significantly. Is it? I don't say so. It's by half, sure. Other career options are not needed to be mentioned. Other, by definition, other means not important. Okay, other is not a main feature, ever. Okay, anyway, we're not talking about main features. Now we're in the body paragraphs. So, Fook, you have listened well to what the wrong people have been saying. Oh, just look for the highest and the lowest. You have a tremendous vocabulary. You don't need to use all of it in every essay, in every task 1. Don't go over 180 words. 268 words is a waste of time. Okay? A, because you don't need that much to do what it's asking you to do. And B, you're taking away from task 2. What are they asking you to do? Summarize. Report the main features in as few words as possible. Right? You can leave out half this stuff, and it wouldn't affect your score. Nowhere does it say report everything. Well, and things like other, that's not a main feature. You could have just said, you know, you can make things, and also, you're only comparing the numbers, and you're not comparing between the numbers. Okay, so for example, the numbers of clerical and secretarial graduates in 2002 was about the same percentage as managerial. Okay, you didn't compare those two, and they added together are about what you find in professional. Use words like half. What's half of what? Okay. It went down a quarter. It went down a third. It went up 20%. It went down, by a fifth. Combine things. What do managerial, clerical, and secretarial, administrative all have in common? They're all office jobs. Is sales an office job? Often, but not always. Professional? No, it's not an office. That's like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. So, if you want to be really creative, you could say that, in the office sphere, we saw contrasting trends in management versus secretarial. And what's the difference between administrative and secretarial, anyway? Okay, HR is administrative. Compare when one goes up and one goes down. You did some of that. So you got comparisons in there, but you're not summarizing. Okay? And you did not identify the main features. What are the main features? 2 of these industries are going down. Two of these industries are going up. You do that in the body paragraphs, but you don't do it in your overview where it belongs.